Variations of gray or gray include achromatic grayscale shades, which lie exactly between white and black, and nearby colors with low colorfulness. A selection of a number of these various colors are shown below. Chart of computer web color grays. Below is a chart showing the computer web color grays. An achromatic gray is a gray color in which the red, green, and blue codes are exactly equal. The web colors gray, Gainsborough, light gray, dark gray, and dim gray are all achromatic colors. Achromatic gray is a gray color in which the red, green, and blue codes are not exactly equal, but are close to each other, which is what makes it a shade of gray. White and black equals. The colors white and black are not usually thought of as shades of gray, but they can be thought of as shades of achromatic gray, as both contain equal amounts of red, blue and green. White is at the extreme upper end of the achromatic value scale and black is at the extreme lower end of the achromatic value scale, with all the colors normally considered tones of achromatic gray colors in between. Since achromatic colors have no hue, the hue code is left blank for achromatic colors. White. White is a color, the perception of which is evoked by light that stimulates all three types of color-sensitive cone cells in the human eye in equal amounts and with high brightness compared to the surroundings. A white visual stimulation will be void of hue and grayness. White is the lightest possible color. Black. Black is the color of objects that do not emit or reflect light in any part of the visible spectrum. They absorb all such frequencies of light. Black is the darkest possible color. Achromatic grays Achromatic grays are colors in which the RGB values are exactly equal. Since achromatic grays have no hue, the hue code is indicated with a dash. Achromatic grays are the axis of the color sphere, with white at the north pole and black at the south pole of the color sphere. The various tones of achromatic gray are along the axis of the color sphere from white at the top of the axis to black at the bottom of the axis. Gainsborough, at right is displayed the web color Gainsborough. Gainsborough is a pale tone of gray. There is no evidence the name Gainsborough was used as a color name before it was included as one of the X11 colors when they were formulated in 1987. Light gray, at right is displayed the web color light gray. Silver. Displayed at right is the web color silver. This color is a representation of the color of the metal silver. This is supposed to be a metallic color. However, there is no mechanism for displaying metallic colors on a flat computer screen. Medium gray, at right is displayed the color medium gray, that is gray as defined in the X11 color names, which is lighter than the HTML CSS gray shown below. The coordinates in the X11 were set at 190 to avoid gray being displayed as white on 2-bit grayscale displays. See the chart color names that clash between X11 and HTML CSS in the X11 color names article to see those colors which are different in HTML CSS and X11. Dark medium gray, at right is displayed the color dark medium gray, that is dark gray as defined in the X11 color names. This color, although it is called dark gray in X11, is actually lighter than the HTML CSS gray shown below because it is called dark gray in relation to the X11 gray shown above. Spanish gray is the color that is called gris in the Gray decolorations by Rosa Gallego and Juan Carlos Sanz, a color dictionary published in 2005 that is widely popular in the Hispanophone realm. Gray, at right is displayed the color gray. The first recorded use of gray as a color name in the English language was in 700. This tone of gray is universally used as the standard for gray because it is that tone of gray which is halfway between white and black. Dim gray, at right is displayed the web color dim gray. This color is a dark tone of gray. Gunmetal. The color gunmetal is displayed on the right. Gunmetal may actually refer to a shade of gray that has a bluish-purple tinge. Davies gray is a dark gray color, made from powdered slate, iron oxide and carbon black named for Henry Davy. The first recorded use of unregistered trademark S gray as a color name in English was around 1940. Jet. The color jet is displayed at right. The color jet is a representation of the color of the mineral or jet. The first recorded use of jet as a color name in English was in 1450. Off-grays are colors that are very close to achromatic grays, but whose red, green, and blue color codes are not exactly equal. Platinum. Platinum is a color that is the metallic tint of pale whitish gray resembling the metal platinum. This is supposed to be a metallic color. However, there is no mechanism for displaying metallic colors on a flat computer screen. The first recorded use of platinum as a color name in English was in 1918. Ash gray. Displayed at right is the color ash gray. The color ash gray is a representation of the average color of ash. The first recorded use of ash gray as a color name in English was in 1374. Battleship gray. The color battleship gray is displayed at right. It is so called because the color is the shade of gray from the specular micaceous hematite paint used for rust-proofing iron and steel battleships. Nickel. Nickel is a color that resembles the metal nickel. This is supposed to be a metallic color. However, there is no mechanism for displaying metallic colors on a flat computer screen. Charcoal. Charcoal is a color that is a representation of the dark gray color of burned wood. The first recorded use of charcoal as a color name in English was in 1606. Source of color, ISCC-NBS Dictionary of Color Names, color sample of charcoal. Timber wolf, the color timber wolf is displayed at the right. Cool grays. Cool grays are colors that are noticeably bluish gray, grayish cyan, greenish gray, or violetish gray. Cool gray, also spelled cool gray, is a medium light color gray mixed with the color blue. This color is a dull shade of blue-gray. This color is identical with color sample number 203 at the following website, http://usnbs/GHTMA the ISCC-NBS Dictionary of Color, are names, a website for stamp collectors to evaluate the colors of their stamps. Poet George Sterling once wrote a poem calling San Francisco the cool gray city of love. The phrase cool gray as applied to San Francisco refers to the frequent fogs from the Pacific Ocean that envelop the city. Cadet gray. Cadet gray is a slightly bluish shade of gray. The first recorded use of cadet gray as a color name in English was in 1912. Before 1912, the word cadet gray was used as a name for a type of military-issue uniforms. Most famously, it was the color of the uniforms of the Confederate Army. In 1815, it had earlier become the color of the uniforms of the United States Military Academy. Blue-gray. Blue-gray was a Crayola crayon color from 1958 to 1990. Glaucous. Glaucous is used to describe the pale gray or blue appearance of the surfaces of some plants, as well as in the names of birds, such as the glaucous gull, glaucous winged gull, glaucous macaw, and glaucous tanager. Slate gray. Slate gray is a gray color with a slight azure tinge that is a representation of the average color of the material slate. The first recorded use of slate gray as a color name in English was in 1705. Warm grays. Warm grays are colors that are noticeably brownish, pinkish grays, or reddish-purple grays. The color brown itself is a dark shade of orange. Brown colors also include dark shades of rose, red, and amber. Pink colors include light tones of rose, red, and orange. These tones of pink become warm grays when they are mixed with gray. Puce. Puce is the French word for flea. Puce has been in use as a color name in French since the 14th century. Rose quartz. There is a grayish tone of rose called rose quartz. The first recorded use of rose quartz as a color name in English was in 1926. Cinereus. Cinereus is a color, meaning ashy gray in appearance, either consisting of or resembling ashes, or a gray color tinged with coppery brown. It is derived from the Latin cinereus, from sneeze. The first recorded use of cinereus as a color name in English was in 1661. Rocket metallic, displayed at right is the color rocket metallic. Rocket metallic is a purplish tone of gray. This is supposed to be a metallic color. However, there is no mechanism for displaying metallic colors on a flat computer screen. Rocket metallic is one of the colors on the Recen color list, a color list widely popular in Australia and New Zealand. The color rocket metallic was formulated in 1999. Taupe. The color displayed at right matches the color sample called taupe referenced below in the 1930 book A Dictionary of Color, the world standard for color terms before the invention of computers. However, the word taupe may often be used to refer to lighter shades of taupe today, and therefore another name for this color is dark taupe. The first use of taupe as a color name in English was in the early 19th century. See also, grisaille, Payne's gray, igmo, shades of black, shades of white. References. Bibliography, Metz, Alois John and Paul, Emory A Dictionary of Color, New York, McGraw-Hill.